Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Everything is Personal. And today, our guest is Brian Piranha. What if the biggest obstacle in your success isn't really your business? What if I tell you it's your health? My guest today is Brian Piranha, a health coach with more than 23 years of experience helping busy professionals lose weight, regain energy, improve their blood work, and build healthier habits that actually fit real life. A former CrossFit gym owner with a degree in exercise science and nutrition, Brian helped thousands of clients transform their health without sacrificing their career or families. In this episode, we explore why successful people struggle with their health, the myths that keep us stuck, sustainable fat loss, nutrition mindset, how small daily habits can completely change your future. If you've been putting your health on the back burner, this conversation is for you.
So, EndoDNA plus BIOS. You put in the patient's genetic and biological data, and it gives you actual clinical insight. Hormone balance, sleep, inflammation, stress response, all of it. Your patients aren't all the same. Their data shouldn't be either.
Brian Piranha. How you doing, Brian?
I'm very, very good. Thanks for having me, Len.
It's funny you were saying that, like the fish piranha. I had years ago, somebody owed me money and gave me a huge fish tank instead. So okay. I'm like, what am I gonna get? So I went to this fish store, this pet store, and there was a guy I knew that worked there. He's like, we have piranhas. I'm like, aren't they illegal? He goes, yeah, but they're like tiny. They're this big. So I ended up getting piranhas, and they weren't tiny for long. They grew. Yeah. They ate 40 goldfish a week. And then they started, and then two of them ganged up on one. I had three, and they ate the one, and everything else I put in the tank, they ate. And then they got in a fight, and one of them ate the other one's eye out. So I had one that was huge, and one that was like skinny because they could only see what one. Anyway, it's nothing to do with our podcast. It's just the name.
No, that's funny. Wow.
It was fun. So I wanted to ask you, was there a moment in your own life that you realized that maybe health was holding you back?
Health was holding me back. Oh,
maybe were you always a person to focus on your own health and wellness?
Yeah. I've always been that way. From going back to high school, even is when I really turned my attention to it. And my friend, Dan, he invited me onto the cross country and track team. And then that took off. And Rocky, I always refer to the Rocky montages, the fighting montage. Oh gosh, I just love that. It was that, the training, and it just evolved. When I look back, there's just been this evolution that has happened throughout my time in the health, fitness, nutrition industry for the last 23-ish years or something like that, since 2000. I guess if you want to include running, 1999 or something like that.
So, where did you grow up?
I'm in Akron, Ohio, home of LeBron James. Yeah. I said I'm born and raised still here. We call it home base, although my wife and I, with our 4 kids, we traveled all 50 states, and we're working on all 7 continents now. But yeah, this is our home, cool. At least for now, with kids.
Yeah, you mentioned Rocky. I'm from Philly originally, so okay. I grew up with Rocky and that whole thing. So as a kid, first of all, were your parents together, and do you have siblings?
Yeah, well, I have a sibling, and my parents were together until about 11, 12-ish, and then they divorced. I lived with my mom through high school, and then I moved on to live with my dad's mom, my grandma, and that's where I spent my college years with her.
So you didn't really have a relation with your dad at that point?
No, we did. We had it faded over time. Unfortunately, it's like someone slowly turned the volume down on that relationship. Yeah. I saw him every other week. He had a giant shark-filled tank, not hammerheads or great whites or anything, but silver sharks that he would have. And he had a snake.
And a snake too.
Chinchillas. He had 2 chinchillas, dogs. I've had a dog for 12 years and I have another dog for 3 to 4-ish now, but he seemed to just keep going through dogs. I'm not sure why at this point, but but as I grew into high school or even more in college, like I said, the volume of that relationship got turned way down. I haven't actually spoken with him for a long time.
So,
For I
as a
don't know
kid,
why.
when you're growing up, um, so there was like before the divorce and after the divorce. Uh, were you into did that like were you into different things when your parents were together, and then after divorce, did you have a different focus? How did that
No,
affect you now?
not necessarily. I still felt loved. I still felt taken care of. They still showed up for me. It just was that I, it just, the relationship faded after, say, high school, especially when I got busier in my life, right?
Yeah,
I have a 16-year-old, is my oldest out of the
yeah,
four. He's getting really busy. He's got a license now, and I don't really see him much, even if he is home. Say tonight he's home, but then he went on a 3 mile run. By the time he gets done with that, and by the time I'm done with this, it's going to be bedtime. I'll see
yeah,
him for another 20 minutes. And I have to just make sure that I am the parent. He's the son. I'm the one that has to maintain that relationship.
yeah. So, were you always into athletics? Was that something
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
were a kid?
yeah. Baseball. I I had a basketball hoop in my backyard. I shot baskets all the time.
Yeah,
A silly story. My best friend growing up, Gentry Dean was his name. I actually ran into him about 2 years ago, and it's just like, hey, that's Gentry. What's going on, man? But like, he would come over and we'd play basketball, and we made up this game. It was pig or horse, right? The classic game, but we renamed it Chud for whatever reason, CHUD, and whoever was first one out was the Chud. It's just
could
so silly stuff.
could have been worse.
Oh, totally could have been. So baseball, basketball. I actually tried out for basketball my freshman year. I made the team, but I was not that good,
Yeah,
and that's when it turned into doing a lot of basketball or running. I turned into
yeah.
runner then.
So, when you like as a career choice, when you're going to school and you're an athlete and you're running and
Yeah,
you're enjoying all that,
yeah.
how do you transition that into like, all right, now I think I want to do this for a living?
Well, running in high school turned into running in college. I became a walk on at the Akron University of Akron.
Hmm.
I wasn't fast enough to actually be on the team, but they let me be on the team. There was a huge team. I was able to, me and Andrew Adams, we were both able to squeeze on. But their warm up pace felt like my race pace when we would go run. But I transitioned to that, and then as I was getting one of my first jobs, say serious jobs, I worked at Burger King for a little bit because Dan, my high school buddy that got me to run, he said, "Come work with me." And then they realized we were too good of friends, and they never scheduled us together. So that was short lived. But from there on out, then I was at the university and trying to figure out, hey, what am I going to do? I'm going to do engineering, business, whatnot. But I walked into a building. It was Memorial Hall. It's not currently there anymore. They put a soccer field over it. But there was a display case with all these different exercise related careers, cardiac rehab, physical therapist, personal trainer, exercise physiologist, all sorts of different things like that. And that caught my attention immediately. I can do any one of those jobs. And literally the next day I signed up for that college and education path, and off to the races I went.
So was your goal to be like a traditional fitness coach?
Well, I was as I got into that process, it started to evolve. Okay, I'm in the field itself, or to learning about it, anatomy, physiology, kinesiology, all those things, nutrition. Then they just opened up a rec center. The rec center was brand new, and they needed a wellness staff. that was my actual first career in my senior year. And that really launched. I was doing body fat tests, bone density tests. I was doing exercise prescriptions on the floor for exercise routines for the staff and the students that were there. They were able to participate in that, which then it just fed into my manager at that place, Mark Feeks, was at Lifestyles prior as a trainer and a manager there. Then I got the introduction to go to Lifestyles. And then I was a fitness staff. Then I transitioned relatively quickly to a personal trainer because they were making twice as much money. Okay, well, why don't I do that? They're making 20 some dollars an hour instead of sitting here wiping down treadmills at $10 an hour or whatever. It's like, I'm not doing this.
So at what point did you make a decision that focusing on entrepreneurs is both a need because there's a gap there, and also it may be more lucrative?
Oh, well, it's certainly the lucrative side of it. I realized that if I wanted to do anything, I needed to create something. And that would be the opportunity. I would do my shake and bake boot camp. I would have small group training then, and just creating literally my personal training book of clients. I had to go out and do all that, which I ended up out of that gym setting. I just outgrew it. I was the weird trainer in the back, hogging the squat rack, doing different things than every other trainer in there. And it was great because I was learning and processing and experiencing different modes of exercise and how to train my clients to get them the best possible outcomes. Not that anyone else wasn't, just I wasn't going to take my clients around to the machine, one machine after another, and just talk to them and stare off and all that. It evolved into then becoming a gym owner. I had a strong interest in CrossFit because that provided the best results for my clients in terms of the exercise prescription. It was fun. It was engaging. There's strength training, conditioning, a lot of stuff, as long as you say modified it and made it appropriate to the person. It was a great exercise routine to have a lot of fun with. And that just started to continue to evolve because then I moved into the gym phase after about 5 years of being a personal trainer.
So at what point do you make a decision to say, you know what, I need to create my own method? There's something here that I'm taking bits and pieces, but there's something that's missing. And what can I do to kind of create something that's unique and also that somebody who's an entrepreneur can actually utilize? Because, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm very disciplined in my exercise routine. Most of my colleagues and most of the people, it has to do with ADD, and we can talk about that as well. Right. So I have to create systems for myself. But most of the people, it's like, it's a running joke. I'm going to start on Monday.
Yes. And International Start Day.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to start. And I don't know, why not now? Start now. But it's also this pattern of, I'm going to buy equipment. I'm going to give me a Peloton. I'm going to give me this
treadmill, the dumbbells.
And then after a while, it's like shit hanging on it. You know what I mean? Like totally. You're not using that stuff. So there's a certain way to approach it. And yeah, I mean, part of it is incentive. Like I have to incentivize myself and make sure that I get my dopamine hit and the reasons why. But you know, how do you do that with your own system to be able to, you know, implement that for people that are entrepreneurs?
Oh, well, the big shift for me came after the gym. The gym, I was doing the gym protocol. We ran CrossFit style classes. We were operating under that umbrella in a sense. People will come in, we deliver a class, high value, lots of coaching, lots of touch point, lots of community. It was a great thing. We had 300 members in my first gym by the time I exited that facility. It was thriving community in a sense. But I just grew that space, and then I went in, and that's when I said, hey, I really need to create something here for my client avatar, my customer. And it came up with the term momentum. It made a lot of sense. One of my coaches, mentors at the time, Glenn Bridges, who's a UK guy, and his program was Velocity. And I said, okay, that makes total sense. I'm trying to accelerate and achieve greatness in a sense. Momentum. that to me, that word, I thought long and hard on it, made a lot of sense because the majority of people I've ever worked with, that's what we're trying to do is build momentum to better habits, lifestyle behavior changes, better food choices. Can I get you to go walk around the block? Then that turns into, hey, I'm going to go to the gym now. And that's the term that really set the last, say, 10 years. It was about 2015 at this point in my career that that evolution of my own, say, method or my coaching and teachings really start to take shape.
What is the momentum method? Like, if you can describe it in your own words and how it differs from other programs.
Well, the big difference is the process of which I coach and engage with people. All exercise programs are the same, right? You just need to move more, lift some weights. There's nothing fancy, right? Basic strength training and conditioning is what it is. Nutrition, there's not really anything fancy. Scientific studies have shown that you can do keto, you can do carnivore, you can do all vegetables. As long as calories are what you need, you can have a very flexible diet approach that allows you to be able to be successful. My magic in threading the needle there was through exercise, through nutrition, but applied to that individual person through behavior change, through communication, through engagement, through giving them the next best step for them to make real progress. And we celebrate that, and then we go on to the next step.
Why do you think, like, business people are very comfortable with KPIs, key performance indicators, right? They're very comfortable with it. Like, we always talk about KPIs in business. But when it comes to your health and wellness, it's like a dark spot that they just don't see for some reason. Why do you think they can't apply what they normally do in their day-to-day to their health and the rest of their life?
Right. That's honestly with a lot of my busy working professionals, so owners, entrepreneurs, and all. That's what I actually start with. Hey, can we borrow a piece of what you're doing over here and drag it into the health bucket that you're blatantly ignoring? Because you're really successful. Hey, it's awesome. You're making 7 figures or whatever. You got all these employees, this company, whatnot. But your health is going to cost you. All those earnings are going to go down the drain because the lack of KPIs in your health department are going to not be the ROIs that you're looking for in your, say, golden years. And then therefore, you're going to be spending on healthcare, not exciting lifestyle. Oh, I'm going to go travel the world, or I'm going to get this thing and that thing, whatever. No, you're actually going to deal with your diabetes and the drain that it's going to have on your life, your energy, your bank account. That's what you're actually going to spend all that hard-earned cash on. So that is one shift of trying to get someone to facilitate more change. The other thing is I fall into this trap too, even though I live this. There's you're say competitive in that particular area of success. Success comes in a lot of different ways. And it could be from your upbringing to the people you surround yourself with, whatnot. Maybe financial success is one of those pinnacle things. And they chase and move the goalposts and keep trying to get more and more and more. And they really do just self-sacrifice themselves in the end for whatever that monetary goal is. And you just get so busy with your day, you just don't make it a priority like you should. Just like any other meeting, people book over the workout time or the culture at your work or your business or just in your life, your day-to-day life, the people you hang out with just isn't fit, active, healthy. It's more something else.
Do people usually start with, like, I need to lose weight? That's my goal. I need to lose weight. But they don't think about, well, maybe I should just make some fundamental changes in my life so I can improve my overall lifestyle. Is it just like a hyper focus? I need to lose weight, and maybe the lose weight why has never been enough for them. So maybe they tried it before, they lost and they gain, and people do all the time. Right. How do you kind of shift that mindset?
Yeah. We have very driven all or nothing type culture, and all the diets and the protocols and different things really fall into place, right? Don't eat carbs, don't eat at all, just fast all the time, or all these rules that come into play. And what happens is people are white knuckling. They're just so, say, hell bent, for like a better phrase, to get to the destination. But life's a journey. It's always been a journey,
Yeah.
and we have to slow down a little bit. And anytime they not white knuckling it, then they take their eye off the road or something. They end up in a ditch because they're trying to go so fast. And then what happens? Well, we have to, depending on how bad the car is wrecked, we at the very least have to get a tow truck to get us out of the ditch, or we might need to take it to the shop and get it fixed. And the tire axle is broken, and or you wrecked your car. Well, we need to get a new car and stuff, but you're still in the same old body in a sense. And then that's that time that's set back. We don't have a weight loss issue. We have a weight maintenance issue, is what I always see, because people lose. I'll talk to them. Hey, I've lost 100 pounds. Or they'll say, hey, I lost 50 and I gained 60, and I lost 40 and I gained 60. And so how much you lost 100 pounds, but you're still the most overweight you've been in your whole life. What's going on? The phrasing or the term that I like to use is middle gear mentality. Again, having conversations with people, helping them break down and see what they're doing or why they're doing or how they're doing, and finding different, say, operating systems that they can have a lot of success in then, and align their personality, their drive, their goals for health or whatever. I can leverage that once I get to know someone to allow them to be able to be successful.
Is it trying to find like something that's fun for the individual to do?
Totally.
Because like some people don't like go to the gym and lift weights. Okay. And you talked about CrossFit, there's a lot of different, but if you tell somebody, look at this, kettlebell, and it's got like, it's shaped like a skull, and it looks cool.
Right.
And it's got the, you have this,
it's got devil horns on it.
Whatever it is.
Right? It looks like a dragon
that's
face.
cool, man. It's dope.
Yeah.
Dopamine is being released.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested in playing with that, because at the end of the day, we want to play. We want to have fun with it. That's why you pick the music that you listen to, or if you don't listen to music, you listen to whatever it is,
podcasts or whatever. Yeah. Something.
Because like doing the same thing every single day, it can get boring for some people. So you got to find that sort of unique thing. And I agree with you on people's personalities, because like I try to go to the gym with my daughter, for example. So she goes to work out with me, and she's like, "No, Dad, no, I'm not. I don't like that. I'm not. It's not for me. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do the treadmill. I have my own routine. I have this, and I looked it up on TikTok, and somebody said to do this, and this is more fun, and I can look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, I don't care if it smells in the gym. That's my kind of gym. I don't.
Right.
But you got to find out what's right for every single person, like a more of a personalized approach. So what is that part of the interview process with?
Yeah. Totally.
And does it change over time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Example, I brought a lady on last night. Literally, she's from Chino, California. And we talked. She's a teacher. She's 43, 1 year older than I am. Single, no kids. She has been overweight since 24. So for the majority of her life, adult life for sure. There's rheumatoid arthritis. There is, what else do we have? A1C is up. There's Hashimoto's, a thyroid issue. There's a couple of things going on, and she wants to lose 50 pounds. She's taking a diet medicine right now, phetamine, which is a way to suppress food. Phetamine was, say, before Ozempic in a sense. And it's really just an appetite suppressant that you can get from your doctor if you want to do, say, a weight loss drug. It quiets down the food noise. It just makes you not that hungry, and then you eat less. It's a tool in, say, the toolbox to eat less calories, just like a lot of things are. I am not gonna sign her up for the marathon training program. I'm not gonna sign her up for Arnold Schwarzenegger's 8-day a week program. I need to find out what is her next best thing. She doesn't move a lot, even though she works in a school. She just doesn't get a lot of activity. That's going to be the first place. With her, I have to really talk with her and understand where she's at, what she's willing to do, and then build her up over time. Whereas I might have somebody else that he literally signed up to me because he's doing a 24-hour mountain bike race. And so that was a big difference in energy, effort, personality, drive, connection, all those things that we need to treat these people differently. Even my tone with her was down. I talked much more naturally, much slower. I aligned with her energy. I just used subtle tonality in my conversation with her, and I explained things differently. Where the other guy's like, "Oh man, we want to do 24-hour mountain bike race. That's what's up, man. That's a lot of effort." And therefore I can match and align energies to then be on the same side of the table in a sense, and not just in friction or creating any type of like that. So
Just thinking about the woman that was you mentioned overweight, what actually motivated her? Like, yeah, I know, losing weight. We have GLP-1 agonists now. We have the Ozempics
right.
and all these other things. All right, so there's a lot of people, and it's been like this for forever with shortcuts. There's I remember
Oh yeah,
there's
just one after another.
yeah, one after the other.
Cut back in the 90s, right?
It was I think it was like this thing Dexatrim was around for a while that people were taking, and like amphetamines, anything.
Oh
and
yeah, speed.
yeah, and it's like this process of, but
Right.
you got to align the mental part of it with the physical part of, like you're saying, personalized. But what is the motivation? Like, if she's already in her 40s and she's been like this for 20 years,
Right.
and I'm sure she tried, and
Yeah, oh, totally. She's trying now.
Right.
She had another coach
Right.
before.
So what is that sort of pushes? Two-part question. What pushes her over the edge to say, I want to give it another shot, and it didn't work before? And then why didn't it work before? And what's going to be different now?
Right. Well, the first part of why try again. Well, she went traveling this summer, wasn't very comfortable in the airplane. She wasn't able to move as much as she wanted to. She went to Iceland. I went to Europe. We had a 2-week trip. I did 22,000 steps a day average for 2 weeks. That's how much we moved from Italy to Greece to Paris on a cruise and just walking around the place. We were nonstop the whole time. She wouldn't have been able to do this. She would have broke in 3 days in a sense. And so she missed out on the life experience that she could have had if she was in a healthier spot. And then also just age is starting to catch up, and that in and of itself, you're either going to try again or you're going to settle. And with some of the situations where she's at, or anyone might be at, you really need to take a pause and check yourself with your health. There might be blood pressure, there might be cholesterol issues, there's something probably going on if you are 50 pounds overweight, that you're shortening your life every year that you don't fix it. The increased risk of dying early gets significantly bigger, faster. And if that's not enough of a wake-up call, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, it's enough of a wake-up call sometimes temporarily, but there's a rinse and repeat. And then,
Right.
I hear people saying, to my genes, genetically, I'm predisposed to that. Okay. I mean, I'm in the genetics business. Just because you're predisposed to something doesn't mean you can't control your epigenetic expression with your lifestyle. So a lot of people look for excuses, kind of thing. And maybe there's something deeper that's going on there. Is like, I don't like myself. I feel stressed. I feel depressed. I'm going to eat something. It's going to give me that, temporary
the
blast.
dopamine.
Exactly. And now I got it. Now I look in the mirror. I don't like myself. I'm going to eat something again. And you're on this hamster wheel. So is part of the job, like, psychology?
Oh, I had one lady the other day. She asked me, "Are you a counselor too, or a therapist, or whatnot?" I said, "I am a lot of things to a lot of different people. I feel like a Swiss Army knife. Every day I wake up, who am I in front of, and how do I best serve them?" And ultimately, that's the takeaway: is how do I help this person be better? And when I understand the situation, nutrition is just one little piece of it. Fitness is one little piece of it. Time management or stress management or understanding their level of skills in certain areas, say cooking. They just might not be skilled at cooking, and therefore that's why they have always failed. It's my job to understand that and then fill that gap and say, hey, we're going to use the air fryer. We're going to use this instead of whatever you did because I suggested on the very first call, I suggested cooking Brussels sprouts in the air fryer, which is a common thing, but the lady actually took it, did it before our actual first real coaching call. And she said, Brian, I really like Brussels sprouts. Thanks for sharing that little tip. And it's because I said, hey, you may have tried something like this, but maybe we can try something like that. And it's my job to find those cracks in the door, in a sense, to slowly open them up. And then other times I might just have to kick the door down, or we can open it faster. But again, that's about psychology. That's about understanding where this person is at. That's their attitude, their energy, and their drive to better themselves. My job is to facilitate that process to get them to their desired outcome, which is usually weight loss, feel better, more energy, things like that.
So when people come to you, like I'm going to use the two examples that you sort of,
Yeah, sure.
I want to do this crazy race. I am in good shape, but I need to figure out how to get in race shape. So I'm maybe I work out with weights all the time, but now for my bike race, that doesn't give me, that actually hinders me. So you have the goal that's set. And same thing with this woman, she's got her goal, which is to lose 50 pounds. Right. Is there sort of a commonality that you approach both and say, all right, well, this is your goal. This is what we're going to do. There's certain things. There's mindset, exercise, food. Like, how do you approach?
Different levers. That's it. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's just different levers. We have our nutrition lever, we have our exercise lever, our mindset lever, our time management lever, stress, and I can just pull a little bit on this one, and this one I might need to yank on, and this one I need to actually push up a little bit. And it's just they're like my marionettes, just controlling the strings, in a sense, on how to get them to move in a way that they want. And so for the guy that wants to do the 24-hour bike race, his workout routine doesn't need a lot of effort. We can tweak it and adjust it based on the time, intensity, duration, but he's going to do the work. I mean, the guy would bike 5-6 hours on the weekend on one day and then come back for another 2 to 4 and do it in Salt Lake City on a mountain both days. And he loved it. With him, I need to make sure that he's eating enough food. Our base calories was 2,500 calories, and then it went up to 4,000 or 5,000 depending on his time on the bike. He actually lost 15 pounds in that frequency of eating basically twice as many calories as he had prior, because it was the nutrition lever needed pulled a lot more. Whereas, say, the other person, I might need to start tugging on the mindset lever a lot more first, because I can't get them to do 10K. I'll break her, right? Oh, my knee hurts. 2 weeks later, my knee hurts. I can't move. And then that's a big problem for me, because then we don't make progress there. Or food. I can't, maybe say someone's addicted to Coke. All right, well, can I get them to barter? Can I barter with them? If for every one Coke you drink, you have to drink twice as much, not Coke liquid, preferably water or flavored water or something. And all of a sudden, if I can get them to agree and they start doing it, then we can go to the next. So there's all these little, say, lack of better phrasing, but trickery, in a sense of how do I trick their mind into placing these better habits and making them think and feel that they are actually better and that they are being successful. Because again, success varies on by one person to the next.
So I'll kind of call the athletes, extreme athletes, I'll put them in as outliers. Uh, core, customer.
Yes, of course, right? We always have a bell curve.
Yeah, your core customer. Like, what would you say would be the things that are most impactful, negatively impactful to their health and wellness? Are there certain foods? Are there certain lifestyle habits? What would you say are common?
We're going to go with the lifestyle habits first. The majority of the people that I ever have worked with in my whole career, 30 to 50-ish, 55, they're busy. BUSY. They have careers, they have families, they have real responsibilities of a mortgage, car payments. I went to a volleyball. The reason why it worked out better for me tonight for our call was my second son wanted to go look and investigate doing men's volleyball at high school, and they're doing an inaugural year. And there was a meeting on how to go about signing up for the team and what it was about and all this. And so that's going to cost at least $200 more. So it's like, hey, surprise. So he's going to sign up for this and you need to give more money. And that's the type of person. So then they're so worried about paying the bills or managing the kids' schedules or all these things that they never pay attention to themselves. So lifestyle habits and that mindset become the first thing. As far as the food goes, it's so basic that if you just did it, you would have wild success. You wouldn't need to ever read a book on nutrition or anything. It's grandma had it right. We do 3 squares a day, a lean protein, lots of vegetables, a little bit of starch, occasionally a healthy fat. And we have an appropriate portion size for each meal in terms of calories. Women, maybe 400 to 600 calories on average. Men, maybe 500 to 7 on average or so. And then guess what? If they just did that 3 times a day all the time, they would be healthy. If they drink, 80, I like to always round up because I'm trying to get my clients to lose weight and stay full. I'll always round up on water, but women 80 ounces, men over 100 ounces of liquid water, preferably, but coffee, tea, no calorie beverages and stuff like that, all cool. If they did that, they would be hydrated. If they did 10K steps or averaged it or got close to it, and they worked out maybe once to 3 times a week, they're going to have success. They get a reasonable amount of sleep, at least 7 hours, but at least 6 for sure. Because if you go under 6, you will have chronic stress starting to build. You will not be healthy. Your body is not resting, and weight loss becomes a brick wall, a huge obstacle to have to overcome. And those are the basic tenets. Those are the pillars that you have to do on repeat. But then lastly, I'll turn it back over, is the consistency part. They won't do it consistently long enough, and therefore they lose.
So do you have to have like some sort of motivator or change that motivation all the time? Because look, you started saying this in the beginning when we started, like there's the keto diet, there's the carnivore diet. Like I haven't eaten meat in almost 16 years, but I eat fish.
Yeah.
I'm not telling anybody else to do that. That's something that works for me. Yeah. And then there's people who are vegan.
I love to eat fish, but I have too many people and it costs too much.
It's true. I can't give up sushi. That was my
I
thing.
love sushi.
So I hear people all the time, and there's so much noise in social media. There's so much noise. It's like, the Liver King guy. Oh shit, I need to do that kind of thing. So what you said, I love what you said, because it's not that complicated.
No, it's not.
You eat real food, you eat it consistently, you control portions. And I think if you really look at the ingredients, what you're putting in your body.
Of course.
Most people don't do that. they think they're getting something healthy,
No.
but the sauce itself is where, I wanted to ask you this. I forgot, and it just came back to
Okay.
me how you measure KPIs. But how do you measure? Do you have wearable device? Do you give them, and what do you measure?
Right.
But one of the things that I wanted to sort of say, like, I was a blood test, and I was really stressed during the test. I get really stressed when I'm giving blood, and my blood glucose level was high. So so
It's
normal
like white
doctor
coat syndrome, right? My blood pressure's through the roof. I was fine before.
Exactly. And it's like a normal doctor will be like, you have high blood sugar, I'm going to give you a pill for that.
Right.
I'm like, I don't eat sugar. That doesn't make any sense. So my doctor was like, I'll put on a glucose monitor. And that was illuminating because I got a drink at Starbucks. And the thing was just like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what? And then and I went and got, I think there was a Thai dish, and I didn't think anything of it. Normal, like with rice noodles. The sauce had so much, corn syrup, but they don't list ingredients on there. So like it's these kind of things, and being able to understand what it is that you put in your body. Yes, cooking, and sometimes when you're so busy you don't have time to cook, but at the very least, shopping it outside of the supermarket.
That becomes a skill set and another process that needs to happen of just making sure you have food available in some manner that does still provide sustenance to you.
Yeah. But so I want to go back and I'll ask you about measuring KPIs, because that once again, it's like, do you have an app? Do you wear? I have my Apple Watch, and what are the things that you should be measuring? And besides just writing down, I have people at the gym, they still have a little notebook like they used to do back in they'll write their little, I just did my sit-ups, I got my all that stuff. What do you recommend, or does it matter?
Well, I have a weekly check-in sheet that I have my clients fill out. It was a sheet that they'd print off, and then I wised up and just made a Google form. This is way easier for them to fill out and do it in less time. Really, it's a self-assessment sheet, to be honest. I have them fill it out before they talk to me so that they are aware of where they're at. And it's a 4-point scale of no awareness, a little bit, yes, nailing it. And the simplicity goes through, am I calorie aware? Am I moving enough? Am I intentional when I'm eating out in a social situation around my food choices? Am I working on lifestyle and behavior habits and changes? Am I making body progress? Am I paying attention to my most important tasks of the day, or am I getting distracted? Am I supported and held accountable? Those are just a couple of them that they can go through and rate themselves as a 36-point system, in a sense, to then evaluate where they're at. And then there's a couple other questions of what were your successes? What's a challenge? What's something that we need to talk about? Are you feeling supported? Things like that, to make sure that they are, again, analyzing what's happened since the last time we spoke. And when we do that, it's very basic. Then we go over the process of how it went and what's going on, and we just keep tweaking. Gentleman, Brett, he travels a crazy amount. He's in his mid-50s. He had shoulder surgery when we started. He was in recovery. He was wearing the sling, and he couldn't travel anywhere. But now the guy is one city to the next, out of country, and here, there, everywhere. We've gone through a number of iterations on how does he pay attention to his food, because he can't track. I mean, he could track, but he's eating out so frequently that it's hard to guess. He sends me pictures of food. I have him guessing to some degree of how many calories are on his plate to make sure that he's thinking and he's calorie aware, because I have to pattern interrupt him. I have to get him to think before he puts food in his mouth so that we get the outcome. He's moving 10, 12,000 steps in a day. I'm sure we'd love for him to work out, but he's still recovering with his shoulder. But it's the food. And it's the constant going from this environment to that environment and the other, and there's no stability there. So I've got to get him to pay double attention. So even the last time we spoke in the last 2 weeks, we made another adjustment on how he was going to go about his food patterns of the day, especially eating out. so that we can continue to make progress. And that only came about because he wasn't necessarily experiencing the progress that we both would like for him. So we change, and he was open to that. And again, that's part of the communication and the coaching process and the trust and the relationship that I have spent my literally whole career building with people to get them to do the things that they know they should be doing.
Are you a believer in this concept of, it's my cheat meal? So, are you a believer in that? Like, I hear people all the time. I was out of the show the other night, and these women were sitting there at the table. We were sharing a table together, and I'd never asked them anything, but they felt like, because they ordered dessert, and they're like, oh, and they ordered, so this is it's my cheat day. What day is it? Tuesday. I don't know what day. It doesn't matter, but they made it, justified it with their cheat meal. And I'm like, I can care less. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there. Whatever you, but
they're over explaining it.
Right. They're over explaining because they're justifying it to themselves. It's my cheat day. It's my cheat meal. Eat whatever you want. I'm not here to judge you, but it's their whole perception, their own minds. Right. They need to justify it. Cheat meal. All right. You just labeled something, eat whatever you want, but there's consequences there. So are you a believer in this thing? Like, I'm just going to label something. It's a cheat meal. It's okay. I can do one of these a week or something like that.
Yeah. Well, again, we go back to that simple but not easy process. I told you exactly what to do for everyone to have wild success. It really is that simple, but it's not easy because of our parents or marketing. We go back to some of the things we said earlier. There's so much of this, that, and the other, and in the marketing and the influence. And then the person comes up 3 times asking you about dessert because they know the third time you're finally going to give in, where the first time you're like, I'm good. I don't want to spend an extra $15 here. Yeah. By the third time, they've worn you down, and then they get the dessert and such. Now, the term cheat meal, in a sense, I believe still should reside in the 90s. And if you talk to other people, professionals that do this for a living, it's not a cheat meal. It's just it's an indulgence, and it's something that we would want to, in quotations, fit into the process. Now, if you were to try to fit in a Cheesecake Factory cheesecake, that might be the only thing you eat in a day. And if you wanted to do that, that would be okay, but you would not eat anything else to abide by the human dynamics of weight management and body composition. You just would be done with your calories. You spent them all on this one thing. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you don't get hungry later. But then people do, right? They can't not eat at some point. So
that's the issue.
The cheat meal is something I actually always have to explain to people. And my clients say, we're not cheating. It's a kind of bad word in the English dictionary, is cheat. We want to think about it in the terms of, how do we fit it in? How do we think through that choice? How do we just not make it automatic or by default? When it gets dark outside, I put ice cream and chips and crackers and cookies and all this stuff in my mouth because I'm really stressed and tired and fatigued and zoned out and not paying any attention. That's usually what happens. And they stack those calories on top of their daily needs.
Yeah.
That gets me in trouble.
Yeah, I'm a total believer in that as well. The whole cheat thing. I really think that you said something I want to reemphasize. So there's this notion of subconscious eating because it's habitual.
Oh yeah,
I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it
me too.
So I'm watching TV or something like that, and snack on something. So when it was COVID, I realized there was this one place that would deliver flights of gelato.
Oh,
and I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna die anyway, so might as well die enjoying my gelato. And I'm like,
FOMO, YOLO, right? It's yo-yo.
I'm getting a little puffy. This doesn't make any sense. So the idea for me, and like you said, it's a whole individual thing. I just don't have those types of things in my house. If I'm going to snack on something, I have some nuts, I have some dried fruit if I want some sweet. It's
Yeah.
not even an option. There's no option available.
Agreed.
There's no option for my daughter. There's no option for me. I'm
Agreed.
sorry. I can't control if you're going out, but in the house, it just doesn't exist because
Right.
I know myself and I have willpower, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes just don't have that option available.
We can't rely on willpower and motivation. They're never there when you need them the most. And
Yeah.
also, let's think about this is how we operate as human beings. Nobody wakes up at whatever time they're supposed to get out of bed, get dressed, go to work, show up on time, and do the thing that they said they're going to do. They do it because they said they're going to do it, and then they get financially compensated to go then pay their bills and live the life that they want. That's why they show up on time, or they wouldn't, because humans definitely would not do that. It's just not by our nature. And so we don't want to rely on that stuff. It's about understanding, and you said it, your strengths and your weaknesses around that. Some people might have more strengths in this area and less strengths in this one. And then we have to play to our strengths, understand our weaknesses, and try to limit our exposure to those as much as possible. Setting boundaries, putting up obstacles. I literally had a guy put a barrier up, a literal barrier. He got the police caution tape, and he would put it across the kitchen door frame to pause and stop him from walking in there at 2 a.m. Well, that is a barrier. That's a pattern interrupt. That's a way to say, this is off limits right now. I can't do it.
Love that. I'm just curious.
Roy was that guy's name.
Well, is there one food that you'll never give up? Like you have this one food that, you know, it's not the best for you, but this is your food. Like for me, and I'm not saying sushi isn't bad for it. It's good. It's fine. But that's the thing that I was like, what am I going to give up? I am not giving up sushi.
Yeah. I to be honest, I'm going to ditto. I would eat sushi the rest of my life if I could. Again, with 4 kids, right in that thick of child rearing, and $100 bills are falling out of my pocket all the time.
It just gets expensive for sure.
I can't find my way to a sushi joint anytime soon. But that would be it for sure. That's one of my favorites.
I want to ask you one more question.
Sure.
We sort of danced around this topic of stress. Especially people that are entrepreneurs, and not only entrepreneurs. Stress is everywhere.
It's universal.
Yeah, it really is a huge culprit in a lot of different diseases, autoimmune, all these different things. Food, diet, all these things, it slows down your metabolism. So when you're dealing with somebody who is in this constant state of stress, what can you do to guide them? Because to me, exercise is a de-stressor. Like that's my my thing.
Mother Nature's best. Yeah.
And I don't love it. I don't love going to the gym. It's not I'm not that guy. Oh man, I love that. No, I like to go on a hike. That is something that I enjoy because I get to listen to stuff that I like to listen to in the nature. Right. Well, what I do with the gym, I like to go to the sauna. So I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to put in the work that I don't really like to do, even though I like the results. But at the end, ding, 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 I have my dopamine hit.
Play off.
Exactly. So this whole notion of stress, when you're talking to somebody, what can you tell them that they can do to help de-stress themselves?
Well, I'd start asking a lot of questions around who they are, how they deal with stress, how it shows up in the world. Are there triggers? Are there patterns of behavior that they exhibit on a day-to-day process or week in, week out around those type of stressful events? Are they constantly exposing themselves to that type of stress? And then do they have any stress coping strategies or mechanisms or processes? And then start to then figure out, okay, what's the next best thing for them? If they have no coping mechanisms, okay, what would make you feel better if you were in this stressful situation and you could do anything else to make you feel better? And then they would give you an idea. And then, okay, I literally had a lady just the other day, 2 days ago, she came to me for energy. It wasn't weight loss. It wasn't like food, nutrition, whatever. Sure, nutrition plays into energy, but it was energy management. I said her name's Mindy. You wouldn't know what her last name is, so it doesn't matter. But I was like, "Ooh, Mindy." I was like mad scientist over here. It's like we can do some really cool stuff because I found out in that very first call, the intake call, she worked in a career that she really didn't like. She showed up for 20 years, did the thing, came home, and unfortunately, she's divorced and has a 14, 15-year-old son. And with that relationship and all, she just was bored, wasn't happy, didn't do it anything per se. She's saying these things to me, and we get her going to the park. We get her going to hang out with people. I said, "What are you doing this week?" And that will bring you some joy. I'm literally asking these questions so that she sets herself up to then go facilitate those things. We had a conversation about her mom. She's about 60, her mom's about 90. And over the last like 3 or 4 weeks, she went from going to her mom on Sundays for 5 hours to 2 hours to this weekend. Literally, she's going to go for 30 minutes because that's about as much time and bandwidth that she has before energy just saps out of her. And there's just so many different dynamics between her and her mom that I've learned through our
Yeah.
conversations that result in that. And so, quite honestly, so Mindy, how much time do you actually need to spend with your mom and then you're good? And she said 30 minutes. Okay, this week you're going to drive an hour round trip, but you're going to spend 30 minutes with her because when you get back home, you need energy to do something else for yourself and not just be sad and exhausted mentally and emotionally because of that relationship. And that has nothing to do with food,
Yeah.
but that has everything to do with her self-care, with her taking better care of herself, of her thinking of herself in a different manner. And when I can equip her with her basically telling me all those things that she's going to do, because I didn't tell her, I just asked questions,
Yeah.
then we can facilitate actual real change so that on Sunday, this Sunday, she actually does something fun with herself and not just go to her mom's and then just wipe out on the couch for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. All
Yeah.
right, so I'm gonna switch
Yeah,
and
cool.
ask you some questions that I ask all my guests.
All right.
I mean, on. So, first is, do you remember? And if so, what was the very first concert that you attended?
Oh goodness, the one that comes to mind first is Alanis Morissette at
Nice,
Blossom Music
nice.
State Center in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. My
Yeah,
dad
yeah,
was a deputy sheriff, and he got tickets to go see that, and I tagged along. I was like 16 or something.
yeah. Lots of young girl angst, like jagged little pillow. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
Jagged Little
that.
Pill. That's exactly what was going down. Isn't it ironic?
Exactly.
Yep.
Don't you think? Um, what was the last concert you attended?
The last concert was Jack White. I went with one of my good friends, my guy friends, Chris, and he actually works out in this barn here. And he's what I lever. I love working out, but I'm in that stage of life of I need to generate wealth. I need to pay all these bills for my expensive family. And I leverage him to come here and work out. And we did something fun, not working out. We went and saw Jack White, and he shred the guitar that night
Yeah,
at the Agora. It was
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw him as well. He's great. Uh, one more music question. For the
Yeah.
next year, you could only listen to 5 albums. Now, you don't have to remember the name of the album. It can be a Jack White album or that
Yeah, yeah, okay.
that is. So what will be those five?
5 albums. Well, one that comes to mind is gonna be Limp Bizkit and Chocolate Flavored Water. I remember when we originally had talked, I did label out, and I cannot remember off the top of my head. I remember doing it. It's somewhere in my notes somewhere, but
Stream of
so
consciousness, brother. Let's do it.
yeah, exactly. So Limp Bizkit, for whatever reason, from the '90s, is really hits. I'm gonna go with an Eminem Greatest Hits album. I don't think it exists, but I do enjoy some Eminem. I will go with. There's one that I've just been jamming to that I do with work that gets me into deep concentration. It's Tron 2. The Daft Punk on that soundtrack is phenomenal. Another one that I've listened in deep work mode is Hans Zimmer from, say, the Batman trilogy with Christian Bale, Christian Nolan. that I could listen to on repeat. And then let's go. One more is going to be, oh, the one that's coming to my mind is, we'll go with Incubus. And back in my college days, gosh, what was the album? That I just would listen to it when I was driving to go see my girlfriend, now wife, when she was at OU.
It's the one with Drive on it,
I
right?
wish
The
you were
one,
here. Yeah, I
yeah,
wish you were here.
yeah. I wish you were here. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
that one. Yeah, yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Tron. So I just went to see Nine Inch Nails,
Oh yeah.
and Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the soundtrack for the new Tron
Ooh.
that's
Oh
coming
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. I
They
heard
have
that song.
yeah,
And then
it's
there's
great.
one more, Hand Covered Bruises is this one from the Social Network movie that Trent Reznor did. And I heard that in my listening to Tron and Hans and stuff. I said,
Yeah,
I listened to it like 6 times in a row. It has this sound that goes back and forth between
yeah,
your ears. And oh, it's interesting.
super
It's really
cool.
cool.
All right, so final question for you.
Yeah.
Please describe what your room looked like when you were a kid.
Oh, yes, I remember this question. I had brownish carpet that wasn't thick, but it was matted. It had blue walls because blue's my favorite color. It was a bunk bed that I had. I slept on the bottom one, occasionally the top, but not really. That was more my brother's because occasionally we shared a room. There was a desk in there, an old solder desk, and it folded out and stuff, and that's where I would do my work. I had a desk night an entertainment center with my little tiny TV that's probably as big as my computer that I play Super Nintendo on, and I would play this baseball game, and I would always pick the A's. It wasn't just say like the Oakland A's, but it was just the A's on that team, and I would always get home runs because I played it so many times. I knew how to swing for the fences in a sense. And then we had a dresser and I had all my things on it. And then I had posters under the bunk bed that had different people, different artists, and different things. So there you go. That's
Like
I
bands
remember.
or like
Oh yeah, bands
girls.
or Prefontaine. This was in
Yeah.
my high school days that I recall. Prefontaine was a runner in the 70s, and I had him on because I was into running a lot. So
Got it. Cool. Hey, Brian, where can people engage with you? Where can they find out more or whatever else you want to share?
yeah, the easiest place to find me is at Coach Brian Piranha on the socials. I'm pretty active all over Instagram and Facebook mainly. Then from there, I have the call to rise.com. It's a men's transformation and fat loss challenge. It's a 100-day transformation challenge that I do in small groups of men of like-minded individuals that want to lose 20 plus pounds and do it through the right way. And then if you just want to hang out with me on, say, just nutrition, fitness, healthy lifestyle, it's brianprana.com. So those are going to be the avenues to find me.
Oh, great. I appreciate it. And then for my audience, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. Thank
Don't
you.
forget to like, subscribe,
All those
share,
things.
follow, whatever else you can do. And then also thank you for buying my book, Making Cannabis Personal. There's two new books that will be coming out soon. I'm just trying to figure out which publisher I want to go with. So it's
Nice.
fun. And then the reviews have been phenomenal. So please keep them coming. I really enjoy that, even when they're not the best. It's fine. I learn from those experiences
Yeah,
too.
we learn, right?
But Brian, I want to thank you so much for being on. Super educational.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate having me and pulling all this gold nuggets out of me. Thank you so much.
Awesome, man.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching and listening. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share this episode, and hit that bell. Like, comment. I so appreciate that. And check me out on social under Len May or Len May DNA. Find out more on LinkedIn or lenmaycoaching.com. And remember, everything is personal.